this how my voice sounds all the time? What's the benefit of hearing yourself?
We look like Joe Rogan's podcast.
Just because it looks cool? You're here with Morgan, Alexis, Zuni.
Brian,
oh, no.
did your hair get stuck? Welcome to the workshop, where we talk about one quick tool to help you grow spiritually. My name is Alexis Coots.
I'm Brian Zuniga.
And I'm Morgan Chambers.
And Morgan Chambers is part of challenge staff here at CBU, and so she's joining us today in the workshop.
Morgan's going to talk to us about one tool that we use to assess, to think about what it looks like to be a disciple, and then what it looks like to find people to invest in. So Morgan, you're going to talk to us about the FAITH acronym.
That's
so
right,
tell
totally.
us, what is the FAITH acronym?
I think you could describe it as just attributes or qualities of a disciple of Christ. Someone who's following Jesus would have really these 5 things that make up the word faith: faithful, available, initiative taker, someone who's teachable, someone who has a heart for God and people.
Let's talk about what it looks like to be faithful. What would someone who is faithful be doing in their life?
Someone who is faithful would be consistently reading God's word.
So they're faithful to God.
They're definitely faithful to God and his word. They're faithful to really try to learn from God's word and do what it says. They're faithful to God's people, right? God's community. So they're faithful to a local church. They're faithful to really just learn and grow from the people that God has put in their life that are trying to be faithful with them.
So faithful and then available. What does that look like?
You have a ton of good things, right? Like
Great,
that you could
things
do.
you can do.
For sure. So how are you making yourself available to spiritual growth, to grow spiritually?
So not just have fun, but grow spiritually.
To actually like be invested in by someone and really look for ways to invest that into other people. Yeah.
Faithful, available, initiative taker is the next one. So what does it look like for someone to be an initiative taker?
Someone who takes initiative, to be an initiative taker, I think looking at God's word, looking at the people that they're trying to follow who are like Jesus, and they're gathering all this information, but also looking for ways to invest that back into others. So they're not just essentially being a sponge, right? That's never like squeezed, and investing kind of what they know about knowledge of God's word, some skills that they're learning, even how they're growing in character maybe. And they're saying, hey, I want to teach that to other people. I want to take the initiative to do that.
Is it cool to ask, like, how do you encourage somebody who maybe doesn't feel like they have the personality to just take initiative or go ask somebody or put themselves out there? Like, how would you encourage that
Help the
personality?
introvert.
To take initiative.
We love introverts, you know.
Yeah,
I
for
am
sure.
one.
That's right. I am
You
not.
are not one.
But I've learned to like really appreciate and respect a lot of things about introverts for sure. But I think it's really comes back to faithfulness, to say this might be uncomfortable or I might have to leave my security a little bit, but really just it's as simple as one person like asking them if they want to read the Bible with you, if they want to take next steps with you. It doesn't have to be I invite 87 of my friends.
Yeah.
It can just be one person. It can just be a couple people.
I like how these overlap too.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
if you're talking about initiative, but an introvert is faithful by taking advantage of the opportunities they have and being an initiative taker in a lot of those relationships.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like all of these are symmetrical kind of in how they grow. You grow in faithfulness, and as you're growing in faithfulness, you're growing in availability. And as you're learning and you're available, okay, now how do I take initiative in that?
Faithful, available, initiative taker, and then heart for God and people. So,
Teachable.
We've got the T.
I can't spell.
Well, still growing in spelling. It's all good.
It's all
Brian.
good.
Feel you.
So faithful, available, initiative taker, and then teachable. Tell us about that.
In my life, I think it correlated to the other 3 that we've talked about. I want to learn, I'm learning. And what I'm learning, I want to give to others. So I'm actually going to attempt that, try that. And then, I see that I still need help. Or this person asks a question and I'm like, I have no idea what the answer is. As you're taking initiative, you understand that you don't know everything and you want to continue to grow.
So the last one is heart for God and people. What does it look like to have a heart for God and heart for people?
When you look at Jesus saying the greatest commandment, right, is to love God and then to love your neighbor as yourself, thinking about how I could do all of these things and check the list of showing up at stuff and asking people to grow with me. But if only my behavior is getting modified and my heart's not really changing and loving God and loving others in the midst of all of it, like it's not real like teachability. It's not real faithfulness and availability. We want all of these things to grow together so that people not only change what they're doing, but their heart changes. Their relationship with God and with other people continues to increase so that they have the desire to do all these other things.
Man, that's so great. Thanks so much, Morgan, for helping us walk through that, think about that in our discipleship lives. Thanks again for joining us in the workshop. Don't forget about Challenge Night at 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday in Innovators. For more material and things to check out the Challenge at CBU app. Peace.
See ya.